All right, friends, to get started, we need to obviously access the rear area of the engine. To get to that, let's get this right out of the way. There's going to be a 10mm headed bolt straight down right here. Go ahead and remove that. Ours is broken, so we're not necessarily worried about it. After that, we're going to loosen up this clamp and get this right off. Set this aside. Now that that's out of the way, we have a nice clear view of our distributor. That's located right here. You're going to see that you have 8 spark plug wires going to it, and then you're going to have 1 coil wire that goes to it as well. We need to make sure we mark those wires so we can remember exactly where they go to on the distributor. They don't necessarily have to be in any particular order, an exception of just however you can remember. So I'm just going to go ahead and mark this one with a 1, or at least 1 line. The next one, 2 lines. Next one, 3 lines. And like I said, this isn't the firing order. This is just so I can remember where to put them back. Now that we have all of our wires clearly marked, let's go ahead and start pulling them off of here. There's going to be 2 mounting bolts on this, 1 on the forward end and 1 on the back right there. Let's go ahead and loosen those up and we'll get this cover off here. Okay, let's carefully lift this up. So now that we have the cap out of the way, we have a nice clear view of our rotor right here. We need to remove both of our mounting screws. Now with both those screws out of there, we can go ahead and grab onto that rotor and get it out of there. All right, now it's going to be time to install our brand new rotor. We want to make sure that we align this with the exact same way that it came off. Let's start in both those bolts and then we'll go ahead and snug them up. Keep in mind that these are very small bolts and they don't require very much torque. Now that they're both bottomed out, I'm just going to give them a little bit extra of a turn. Perfect. Give it a nice shake. Make sure it's completely on there. That looks great. Let's get that cap back on. So now it's going to be time to get our brand new cap on here. We want to make sure that we have both of our small mounting bolts. When we put on the cap, we want to make sure that we have the area that has the coil wire facing towards the passenger side. I'm going to carefully set this on here. We want to make sure that the bolt holes line up. We'll start in both of the bolts and then we'll snug them up. All right, so once you have these things so they're bottomed out, you just want to go ahead and torque them down to 21 inch-pounds. Now the next thing we need to do is use a little bit of dielectric grease, and you can either use this on the wires directly or you can go right along the cap right here. Essentially what we want to do is just get it so it's along the electrode and along the outside of the prongs all the way along the cap. We're going to do all these areas and then we'll continue. Now it's going to be time to get the wires back on here. We want to make sure that we install these in the same order as we remove them. Make sure they're all the way on. So for the passenger side, I'm going to start with the coil wire. That one's very different from all the rest. Just go ahead and slide that on there. After that, I'll continue on with the rest of the wires, making sure that I put them on in the same order that I removed them. Okay friends, now it's time to get this back on here. Just something I'm going to mention real quick is you're going to have your clamp, and then over on this side you should have that mounting bolt. Ours was broken, so I don't necessarily have the bolt, but I'm just going to go ahead and slide this right on here. Line it up so the mounting bolt's here. Go ahead and start that in. We're going to move along to snugging this up.